This is a very interesting location on the north side of the moon that was filmed on the 13th of March. So this was a YouTube user, Skywatcher Terminator, line anomalies, March 13th. So I've just paused at certain positions and you can see the very interesting towers here in Grove. So it look like a platform. Now these must be huge. I did a quick calculation previously. If the moon is 3,500 in width or diameter, I calculated that roughly these in the order of magnitude are probably 50 to 100 kilometers high. So yeah, they're huge. They look like coral type growth. So I've just enlarged the pictures and try to pause at a few locations that show what these structures are. So I've actually enlarged that one. That round one's luminous, especially that platform there. And this is the area where that a UFO was filmed that landed in this area. It was just a triangular shaped object, same type of material as these things. I've compared these pictures to a moon during the 60s, Apollo pictures, and these objects are not there. I can't see them on older moon pictures, so the mind boggles. Are they just normal type of growths like coral? We have been told the moon has an atmosphere, a thin atmosphere. Are they ET in origin? Are they serving as some sort of landing platforms? So I'll just actually pause this and enlarge a few of the pictures and also try to catch other areas. So the trick is to pause at the right location, then zoom in, take pictures and enlarge them. So especially interesting is that very large growth there, looks like a platform, and that one there. So I'll try and enlarge a few of the pictures. Here we've caught again a closer view of these anomalies. So I'm trying to focus in on these ones here. Now they show what looks like filaments coming off it. You can see that pause right there. So I'll try and enlarge that picture. This thing seems to be floating right there. It doesn't seem to be connected to anything. The object there is larger on top. It's got a very thin base, and these appear to have things like filaments are growing from. It's not just glare. I'm trying to focus in on what that dark object is sitting on that platform. So the trick is to pause it when there's minimal glare. So this is very high zoom. And then process the pictures, and it does look like a platform. There's obviously circular structures leading up to that platform. It's just so bizarre. I'll try to find older pictures of the moon to actually see if that's still there, but I don't think these structures are actually there. Now that could be a good pause. That shows a tubular-like cylinder leading from the top of the platform down, so I'll try to enlarge that picture. Now this is a better zoom of the structures here. They look like the filaments are growing on this platform there, and that object just seems to be floating. It's not supported. I can't see any object leading up to it. It's fascinating. I'll then focus on these areas here on the left, especially that sort of square-like area, that structure that goes over those type of objects there, and zoom in and try to enlarge a picture. So it's a very unusual type of a setting we have, and there's many objects there that have to be caught in at the right time to minimize glare, then enlarge. So the area is fascinating. Especially that object coming right off there. I'm not sure if it's glare. I'm also trying to enlarge that object and try to work out why that's coming off at that strange angle. that object as well. And one object seems to be floating right on top of it. Actually, to pause that would be the best movement. Try to work out, is that attached to it or just seems to be floating? There's one there as well. It's very hard to catch these when they're clear, so you have to pause the actual telescopic film and try to capture it. And that's a good zoom right on that structure there. It's unusual. The platform seems to come up and then it's horizontal. It looks like it's some sort of landing platform. I mean, I shouldn't say that, there's no proof, but then you've got all these weird tunnels or tubes that come off and travel down to the ground. That one there is vertical, then you've got the curvy object around it, and there's one object right there I'll try to zoom in on. When we pause it at this precise moment here, we see a very definite straight line effect, as though it's some sort of platform right there. So I'm trying to enlarge those pictures, and we can see something from there leads like to tunnels or tubes. That's a very, very straight platform type object there. So either they're very a natural growth there on the moon, or mountains which grow that way, or they're actually some other things. I'm not sure obviously what the other things are. And let's just go a bit more. This was filmed on the 27th of February 2014 by Pelon Cito on YouTube. So he's actually zoomed in on one area. Now I've actually gone in on this area here. It looks like a big black dome or sphere there actually sitting in that crater. I'm trying to zoom into that area there in that crater, and we've got heaps of things happening there. The trick is try to find and zoom in, so especially that one in there. Okay, in this area, so especially that triangular thing sitting there. This was taken March the 5th, and it shows that white tower coming out of that hole there. It's very unusual. There it is. So I've actually enlarged those pictures there. Now these are enlarged pictures which were zoomed from the moon images. Go through them step by step. The most interesting finds are in the crater. We've got these two white filaments coming out right there, and we've got many bizarre shapes happening. Some just, especially this one, it's like a cylinder, but at the end of it we've got a definite type of opening, which is a black dark opening, especially that one there. So let's start from the beginning. They're all good. It just, yeah, they grow sideways, vertically, then objects come off the vertical type towers. That's the next one. Not sure what to say. It's like very strange. These pictures are not that good. They could be better. There was that floating object. Here's that platform. Now, it seems though there's a vertical support, and then you've got that V shape there as an object on there I'm trying to focus in on. And then you've got that tube that leads down from the platform. Now here's the floating object, which is very bright. There's a hole down there, a tunnel. There's one more floating object there. So I don't think I've brought up the resolution on that one. So this is how easy it is. And it just brings up the structure, obviously. There it is there. So it just looks floating. I don't see anything supporting that. That looks like a tower there. Some sort of a V-shape tower. Again, it's very hard to get there's that V shape there and the bright object on top. It's very hard to get these zooms. This object looks like it's composed of two separate parts, and again it's very hard to get a clear image of these things. Now here's where I start to see on this V shape going across these filaments are like trees on there. So I'm just trying to enlarge that. There's obviously a structure coming from the center, it then goes across, and you've got these filaments coming off there. Again, I can't fix the exposure anymore. It's very difficult to do, even with this software. I think we've hit the limit. This is the hardest one. It's that tower. It's a flat process on top, support, and then the object in the middle. It's very hard to get any type of clear definition. I've tried on one other one, and I've actually zoomed into the object sitting on there. It's not easy. It just does not seem as though it's a rock. That object there looks like it's actually larger on the top part. There's that floating object, a very bright one. It looks as though it's not supported to the ground. There's that hole in the ground. It's like a tunnel actually. There it is there. That's the clearest I can do on that image. Very difficult image to work with. Here are those tubes coming down from the platform. That's the closest I could do on that image there. There's that white object that seems to go horizontally. It's the clearest I could do on that object. There's one more object seems to be not supported. Floating. Now here is that object in the center of that platform. It's very hard to focus in on, so every trick I can use to highlight it, I'm going to try to do that. There it is. Seems to be right on there, so I'm just trying to alter the shadows there. Now there's a zigzag path down, and there's that object. Seems to be sitting right on that platform. There's one more zoom of it on that platform. Again, very difficult to get any resolution on that. That's the best I can do on that one. There's one that seems to come up and have a platform on it as well, like a huge mushroom type of object. Look at it, it's bizarre. There's some more there. More there, that seems to float that object on top. This is interesting, it's like an object there on the ground. There's one other one there. Very hard to work out what it is. This is interesting because it seemed to have some object coming right off there and actually like some sort of filament. It was very hard to catch in the video. It kept changing shape. It's an interesting object there. Not sure if that's been altered. Yes, that's that V-shaped structure in the platform. There's that object that grows up. It seems like a tower, and then objects come off it. Now, I can't get that resolution any clearer. It's very strange. There's that floating object. Again, that's the curly objects in that tower we saw before. That white object. See if I can just change resolution of it. There's that platform again. This is a bad picture. I can't get any clarity on this one. But I could get what looks like you've got two tubes coming down the ground from there. It looks very alien, so there is again those tube structures. There's a V-shaped one. There's that object again, looks like a tower. This could be clearer on that platform. Obviously we see it's a V-shaped type of platform. There's an object right on there, and here are the tubes leading down. We might try to get a clear resolution on that one. It's very hard to do. Extremely hard. But it just does not look a normal growth. There it is there. Looks like some sort of landing platform. Sounds crazy, but there's that tower again. There's a closer look at that V-shaped structure. Here we have a very clear image of that, what looks like a rectangle. You've got tunnels of cylinders coming down, an object right in the middle. Let's see if we can fix this one up. How well we can clear that one up. Here are these tubes coming down the side. That looks like a horizontal platform, and there's an object right there we're trying to catch before. Wow. Look at that. That is very, very, very bizarre to be just a normal rock on the moon. And very hard to bring up. Extremely hard. And that comes down and just goes right down to ground level. That's it. That's that image. That is a magnificent object, but I don't know what it is. It's probably about 50 to 100 kilometers high on the moon. So it seems to have a tower, then this V-shaped platform on there, an object in the middle, and these tubes that run down. Huge size. There's one object that just seems to come off the edge of that. Now here's that object on the platform. That's as close as I can get. It just looks like a square. Now I've worked on this about 2 times. I can't bring it up any better than what I've got on there now, but it just looks like 2 distinct rectangles sitting on there. They do look like rectangles. Here's that object that looks like a tube or a big worm, and it's got a definite black point right there, or a round aperture, and it looks more like it's a ball at the end here, and that leads into that crater. That's a very tricky shot. I'm trying to bring it up. It's very hard to bring up that one. There it is there. I've never seen anything like it. There's an object which has a rod sticking right up there. This object I'm trying to clear up as well. It's a very hard one to do. It just seems to be sticking up there. This is good. It's just like 2 towers. Very unusual to be just rocks, obviously, on the moon. That one as well. Here's that cylinder or tube. It is a definite tubular structure that goes across the moon's surface, and it seems to want to enter that big hole right there. And there you've got a dark aperture, or it looks like a hole in that cylinder. There's the head of it, which is a very darker colour towards the end. And I'm just trying to enlarge that. It's fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. So if I bring that a touch closer on the scale, highlight, shadow. Now we've got something happening. If I fix up the shadows, you could bring more definition to it. There it is there. Just seems to be a tube or a big cylinder, and it's right near the big hole, and there it's dark. It's got a black aperture at the end of it. That's one more strange object. Now this one is in the crater. It looks like 2 filaments, a smaller one and a larger one. This is unusual. It seems to be going, there must be a support underneath, and then it goes horizontal, and that looks like an opening there, like some sort of huge a daffodil. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. It's very hard to bring it up, but that's the best I can do on that one. There's that round opening on that side. That's a very bizarre one. There's that aperture again. This white filament sticks out, and there it's a bit larger. That's a bit clearer right there. There it is there, that white one, the white one there. Just enlarge it. One more weird shape. Another weird one. It looks very cloudy, like a fluffy cloudy material. Very bizarre. There's that thing in the crater, the white one coming out looks like a hole. The white thing there. There it is again. That's a clearer shot. I like that shot. It actually shows that thing sticking out. Like a vent, and there's one more object around there as well. So it looks like some sort of vent. I'll try and enlarge it as much as I can. See that cloudy like material there, like one filament or cloudy material coming out there. One more weird shaped object. There's one that looks like a tower or something sticking up from there. Let's go back to the file. So the most interesting structures are this one. I'll try to fix it further, but it's very difficult to bring up any more from there. And the most important one I found was that tower. The clearest picture of the tower and the platform with two black cylinders on there would be that one there. It just seems like two rectangles on that platform. So that's about 50 to 100 kilometers. I think it's more close to 100 kilometers high. And it just does not seem a natural formation. Probably the clearest picture I have of that one would be that one there. Gets pretty good. Again, I just don't know what these objects are. That's a perfect image of it right there. And there's the object on top. And the other bizarre thing is obviously that worm-like picture. It's got a cylinder or a tube coming down. It's got an opening at the end that looks like an eye or a huge mouth, and it wants to go in that hole. That's what it looks like. And right there it's very black as though it's hollow. So there's many strange objects which just can't be explained as just being rocks. And I'll repeat again, the most interesting ones are the platform, that one there. It's probably the clearest picture. That could be about 100 kilometers high, and it's got definite tubes that lead down, and you've got a black object sitting on it, which when I enlarge it, were like two rectangles. That's the clearest that I can dream even to get to that picture. And of course that cylinder or worm that wants to go in that hole, we just caught it going into it. There's one other picture over there. So there's a black opening. It's a tube. And I'll just try to process this clearer. And that's very interesting too. There's just too many weird structures there that just can't be rocks. It's worth spending more time with strange objects in this video.